Greetings, fellow Dragon Riders, and welcome back to Final Fantasy Heroes Across Time. Let's continue, shall we? Calm before the storm. Sephiroth and his army came across another huge city while making their way to Cocoon. The city was called Kondapiti. They came across some dwarves who said, "Rally ho!" Sephiroth said, "My friends would like to enter the city, please." The dwarf says, "Password, please." Sephiroth sliced the dwarves' heads off with Masmoon, his very long sword. He vanished and entered Kondapiti. Bahamut's sin broke the walls with a blue fireball. Sephiroth sliced apart the city with assistance from his allies. He then said, "Not far from Cloud's location." His army advanced further south and destroyed a very secure summoner temple. Once Sephiroth's army reached the gates of Cocoon, Sephiroth said, "Bahamut, fire at will." A boy saw a fireball break through the gates and hid in an alley after grabbing a concealed weapon. He chanted a spell and transformed into a mighty warrior and made his way to Sarah's house. Lord Lightning answered, "Who are you and why are you here?" He answered, "I am Draconis and I saw a large army of monsters being led by a silver-haired man." Emerged and yelled, "Sephiroth is here?" Draconis nodded his head and unwrapped his weapon to reveal a sword with a dragon head on the handle and a blade pulsing with fiery red energies. "It's time to rise and fight." Draconis then spread two dragon wings out of thin air that were pulsing with fire. Second interlude. "Oh, it appears a very interesting person has intervened into history. I certainly hope he deems well against Sephiroth and the other villains." And so the ultimate showdown ensues. Clash of History. Lightning saw the wings and asked, "What are you?" Draconis simply said, "Roar!" He then ran outside. Sarah said, "Warriors, follow Draconis. Summoners, assistance from the back by strong as arms. Lulu, stay in the middle to use your magic." He followed the commands and got into position. Cloud was following on his blade cycle near Draconis, thinking about Sephiroth. Draconis flew forward until he saw Ozma, Bahamut, Sin, Dark Bahamut, Sin, Bahamut, Sin, Seymour, Flux, Kefka, Emerald Weapon, Omega Weapon, Necron, and Ultima Weapon. "Let the dragon's judgment flame burn your souls!" His body twitched and grew in size and more scales until he looked like a giant dragon covered in armor wielding a sword. He then said, "Roar!" Necron replied, "Do not deny your destiny to die. You're delaying the inevitable. This world shall be ours to rule. Your time will fall. Ours will rise." Draconis yelled, "Roar!" He then rushed at Necron and sliced him in half. He then went after Ozma, slicing him down the middle. He then said, "Why must we fight, brothers? Join me and the dragons will witness salvation through humanity." Both Bahamuts roared at Draconis in defiance. He replied, "Guess I can't persuade darkness. Well then, I'll just kill it! Dragon's judgment!" Draconis opened a rift, summoning the true Bahamut, along with the Leviathan and Ark. Bahamut fired his Mega Flare, Bahamut's Sin. Leviathan drowned Dark Bahamut, and Ark vaporized them. Draconis then took to his normal human Dragon Knight form. He joined Cloud back on his motorcycle and said, "Don't worry, Cloud, the cavalry is here." Cloud smiled briefly until they saw Sephiroth and the other villains. By the time Cloud and Draconis stopped fanning the others off, Draconis said, "Let's finish these bastards once and for all!" Lulu used her black, and the white mages kept their allies at full strength. Meanwhile, at the front lines, Draconis and Cloud stared at Sephiroth and Caius. "So, Cloud, finally found someone as weak as you to fight me? That knight is nothing more than a mere boy." Draconis' body flared up in flames and said, "I'll show you who's weak!" He drew his dragon blade and made fiery slashes into Sephiroth faster than he could process. He said, "So you do have some bite. Let's see how you can fight two very skilled swordsmen at once. Caius jumped in and tried to slice Draconis, but Draconis flew over. Well, he then yelled, "Dragon Judgment! God Mode!" All the dragons of the land, including Bahamut and Leviathan, gathered around Draconis. He said, "Your judgment has come. You are guilty of causing the deaths of many human beings." Fused to the dragons, the immense energy of the dragon until his body was a very huge armored muscular dragon covered in fire. Draconis replied, "Your fate is decided. Death awaits you." He then raised the dragon blade to the sky, bursting it into a mixture of elemental auras. He sliced downwards and crushed the duo. He said, "Cloud, I'll help finish the others." Cloud raised his bust, showing sliced at the other foes. Draconis opened his left hand, fired a supernova blast on War Mag Weapon, Ultima Weapon, Emerald Weapon, and Genova. They exploded and Cloud defeated the others. He noticed all the villains' corpses scattered across the streets of Cocoon. When Draconis returned to normal, he noticed something strange happening to the other heroes, besides Fane, Lightning, Sarah, and himself. He saw a tear running down his own cheek through a puddle of water. "You're fading away. Don't go." Cloud and the other pastor said, "Do not worry, young one. We shall all remain with you in here." Cloud pointed at Draconis' heart, ran to Lightning after diminishing his flames, and cried on Lightning's arm and said, "Why do they have to leave?" Tried to comfort Draconis and said, "Their spirits remain with you, Draconis. I saw your parents were killed. I shall care for you with my sister." He turned back to his young boy body and walked to Sarah's house, looking back at the slowly fading heroes of the past. As they were waving farewell to him, grew to be a well-trained protector of the city despite his differentiality. The people learned to accept his presence. He vowed that if Cocoon ever needed him again, he would heed the call of the dragon. The end.